Hey Mountain Dreamers, Kristen Walter here, coming to you today, talking to you a little bit about the most dangerous things to watch out for when you're hiking in Colorado. And hey, don't worry, it's fun to hike in Colorado. I hike by myself every day, 3 to 5 miles. Of course, I always have my dog with me too, but stay tuned. I'm gonna show you how to stay safe while you're hiking in the mountains of Colorado, and the things that I think are the most dangerous stuff to watch out for. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you click the like button, the subscribe button, share this with all your friends, encourage them to get outside. Colorado is a beautiful playground, and hey, take it from me, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I've been in Colorado about 15 years now, and it was a huge learning curve when I first got here. The first thing I want to tell you is that in Colorado, we don't have alligators. So if you're from Houston, the Gulf Coast, anywhere like that that's got those big old alligators, look, we don't have those in Colorado. That is like one of the perfect perks of being in the mountains, is you don't have to worry about a giant reptile taking you down. Now, we do have some rattlesnakes. So that is a slight danger in some of our semi-arid desert climates. But I can tell you that typically above 8,000 or 9,000 feet, you're not gonna see a lot of rattlesnakes unless you're in a desert area. Now that you know that's one of the dangers, is we do have some rattlesnakes in the desert areas, the semi-arid desert. So southwest Colorado, if you see cactus on the ground, more than likely there is somewhat of a danger for those rattlesnakes, but not a huge danger. I have seen rattlesnakes in Denver when I've been out hiking on those trails as well. So not a huge risk the way that it is like in Sweetwater, Texas, the rattlesnake capital of the world. We don't have a big danger for snakes in Colorado. So check that off your list. Try not to worry about it when you're here. One of the biggest dangers that I see in Colorado that people have control over is being prepared with food and water. Remember, at altitude, you need a lot more water than you can ever imagine if you're at sea level. If you're drinking alcohol, if you're smoking marijuana, if you're drinking caffeine in the morning, you need that much more water to make sure that you're staying hydrated on your hike. So that's the first thing I can tell you that is dangerous for hikers in Colorado, is just being unprepared with not enough food or water. Second thing, cars and ATVs. If you're out hiking on the trails or you're on a Forest Service road, which I go on a lot, you have a danger of 4x4, four-wheel drives, cars, ATVs zooming past you. You just have to pay attention, listen for when they're coming, and step off the road and hope that you don't run into them or that they don't run into you. The next danger that I see is people who think they want to eat food in the forest that are not educated. And look, I've been foraging now for about 7 years. I took a class, I read a book, I know what I am not supposed to eat and what I can eat, but I've seen people come here and want to go hunting for mushrooms, which we have a lot of mushrooms this year because of the rain, and they're eating the wrong kind. So look, don't eat anything that you're not supposed to eat. Pretty simple. The next biggest danger that I see when I'm out hiking are dogs. I have one myself. She's off leash a lot of the time if we're by ourselves in the middle of nowhere, but I know when I'm supposed to put her on leash. A lot of folks who are hiking, who are visiting here, want to live the dream and let their dogs run off leash wild in the forest. This is very dangerous because we have dogs who are reactive. We have dogs who, if they're on the leash, they're well behaved and they'll be okay, but if another dog runs up to them, then you're in a huge dog fight in the middle of the forest. Or perhaps your dog is unpredictable and might want to go after a person. And better yet, I have to tell you, wildlife in the state of Colorado is highly protected, just like it is everywhere else. So if your dog goes after a protected animal, such as a deer or an elk or a bird, you could possibly be fined on the federal level for the Migratory Fowl Act. Or, you know, if your dog gets a hold of an elk or a deer, that's a big deal. And in some cases, the Colorado Department of Wildlife might put your dog down if it kills an animal that's protected. The other thing that I've seen that's dangerous with regards to dogs and hiking is if we are cross-country skiing in the winter. We have some special skis that are very sharp. They're like razors on the edge. And so if your dog gets caught in my ski, your dog's paw gets sliced. So just be careful. If you're coming here to visit and you want to live the dream and you want to have your dog, just have a leash with you and make sure that you've done some type of loose leash training or off leash training. So there are classes for a recall, and there are places that you're allowed to have your dog off leash if it is a 100% recall dog. So please just be careful with dogs. It's a huge problem that we're having that is becoming very dangerous for people who maybe you are afraid of large dogs, or just in general, those dogs can be a huge problem. And I have to tell you also, if you love your dog and you want to keep it safe, we have mountain lions in Colorado that would not hesitate to take a small dog. And I've even had an owl try to go after my dog and a bigger dog. Owls are dangerous to our dogs. Coyotes are dangerous to our dogs. So if you love your dog and you want to stay safe and you want to help other people to not feel fearful in the forest or when they're hiking, keep your dogs close to you. That is one of the biggest dangers that I see that we can all help each other out with. All right, drum roll please. I'm getting to my top 10 biggest dangers of hiking in Colorado. Number 10, bears. Look, like I told you, I've been here a long time. I'm really not afraid of bears. I've seen my fair share. They're afraid of us. They stay away from us. If you come across a bear, then most likely you will need to, determine whether you're in the way of that bear and their food or their babies. And if that's the case, then you should, try to do what you can do. I'm gonna drop a link to a podcast below where he really explains the behavior of bears, because I'm not an expert. I just know that bears are here, and if your trash is not secure, and let's say you walk out from your vacation rental and you're ready to go on a hike and the bear is digging in your trash, that's where we see a lot of problems. So bears, I know that we've had a recent event where a woman was killed, unfortunately, near Durango, I believe, at nighttime when she was walking her dogs from a bear. So it is a real danger, but it's not my top danger because of personal experience. I have seen only a handful of bears. The bears that I've seen in Colorado have run away from me very quickly. They tend to keep to themselves. And in the instance that you do come across a bear in Colorado, we are supposed to make ourselves large and loud and stand our ground. We're not supposed to run from the bear. I've never been in that situation. I hope that I never will be. But don't back down from a bear if you see it, if you can. Especially don't run. Never ever run from a bear in Colorado. Never turn your back on a bear in Colorado. And hey, if you disagree with what I'm saying right now, drop a comment below. I'm speaking from personal experience, from being an avid hiker. Like I said, hundreds and thousands of forests, acres, and learning from the Department of Wildlife in Colorado. Those people are very educational. You should sign up for their YouTube videos. You should go to their Twitter and learn all you can, but I'm just telling you the top 10 dangers. So my least dangerous animal right now is the bear. Number 9, mountain lions. Now, I tell everyone, I'm not afraid of mountain lions because you'll never see it before it kills you. Typically, they are stalking you, they are looking at you, they are seeing you, and you don't even know that they're there. And they have a way of coming from behind and snapping an animal's neck and making it go quickly. But it is something that I do fear. It is something that I try to pay attention to my dog. I've never seen a mountain lion in Colorado. I've only ever seen a lynx in the courtyard of my townhome in Keystone, and it ran away from me. But a mountain lion, healthy fear. There's really nothing that you can do to prevent an attack for the most part if you see that mountain lion. and it's coming for you. I think you have to fight for your life. But for the most part, of my friends that I've heard who have seen mountain lions, it's been from far away, and they have backed out slowly. They never turned their back on the mountain lion. And I have heard instances of people throwing rocks and screaming and yelling and trying to get the mountain lion to back away. But again, I can't tell you from personal experience. I can just tell you that I've never seen one in all of my hiking, and I don't fear them because I feel like it's going to be done quickly. So I know that is a weird thing to say, but it is a real threat. And once again, a reason to keep your dogs on the leash when they're with you, and to just stay aware. So now I'm getting to number 8. This is a real fear. I think about it I would say 80% of my hiking time, and it's moose. The moose is, to me, I'm more afraid of a moose than I am obviously of a mountain lion or a bear, because moose are large animals. Think about horses. Think about if you've ridden horses, been around horses, that's how big a moose is, if not larger sometimes. They also cannot see very well, and the coyote is their natural predator. So if they see a dog with you and they feel like coming at you, they are going to come at you fast. They can run really fast, and you will get hoofed to death. Same thing with elk. If elk are in rutting season, if they are in a bad mood, they will come running at you. They are large, wild animals. I cannot tell you how dangerous a moose is. Look it up, Google it, look at the pictures one time, and then you will always be afraid of a moose, because you cannot outrun a moose. The experts say you're supposed to hide behind a tree and let the dog fend for itself. Well, I hope I'm never in that situation. I've always seen moose before they've seen me, or I've seen them far enough away that I've backed away, I've turned around, I've changed my whole route, because I cannot win against a moose, and it would be a very painful and awful experience if something was to happen. So be careful of the moose. I can't tell you how many times I have seen tourists in my backyard who have seen a moose and decided that they wanted to take a selfie with the moose. And I'm over there taking a video of the tourist taking the selfie, because if something happens, I have to be able to report it to the Division of Wildlife. Stop taking selfies with moose. Stop getting so close to the elk when you're in Estes Park. These are wild animals. They're not your horses at home, okay, guys? They are very dangerous. So that's my number 8 danger of hiking in Colorado. Number 7, waterborne illnesses. I know I'm switching from animals over to other things, but hey, I've seen some of you folks come out here, you're going hiking, you get thirsty, you don't have enough water, that was one of the first dangers, and you decide you want to drink from the stream. I know that the water is clear and cool and beautiful, and you remember seeing those spring-fed commercials of the Coors Light. Well, guess what? There's animals upstream, and they're pooping in that water, and you're drinking that water. And guess what? The mountain men that we all know about in Colorado that used to kill beavers and be fur trappers in the late 1800s and early 1900s, guess what they all died of? They didn't die of bears. They didn't die of mountain lions. They died of dysentery. They had diarrhea because they drank the water in the streams. Stop drinking the water. Don't do that when you're out. Get a life straw. I'm gonna do another video where I show you my best gear for hiking in the mountains, and the life straw is one of the things that I have in my backpack. Okay, so the next biggest danger that I think we have in Colorado are ticks and mosquitoes. Again, bloodborne illness. We've got a lot of different ticks in Colorado. It's nice to be able to go hike and sit down and have a picnic, but you really do need to check for ticks when you're done, and cover yourself properly. Get some good bug spray. We do have bugs in Colorado. We don't have a lot of mosquitoes at altitude. I would say, you know, 1 or 2, but if you ever go to Crestone, Colorado, be prepared. They are there in swarms. Let me tell you, you gotta have a lot of bug spray on, and they'll even bite you through your clothes in Crestone. Not very common, not very typical in the mountains when you're hiking, but for some reason we have issues with them over there in that area. So just be prepared and know that it can be an issue, but not as huge of an issue as though you were in, say, Alaska or you know, down on the Gulf Coast. Okay, my number 5 danger for hiking in Colorado is what I call exposure to the elements. And this is something that anybody will tell you about when you're preparing for hiking or going outdoors or camping. You know this stuff, but you need to prepare for this. So for example, you could be hiking in a canyon and look up in the canyon on your way up, to the top of the mountain, and the canyon is dry, but then the thunderstorm comes. So you're exposed to thunder, you're exposed to lightning, you're exposed to rain. You come down, that canyon has now flooded. You might be stuck out there because of flash flooding. It's amazing how quickly a flash flood can come up. But this is easily taken care of. You just have to look at the weather. And in the summertime, don't hike in the afternoon if they're known for their afternoon thunderstorms. Just hike early in the morning. The other thing with exposure, like I said, besides water, rain, lightning, mudslides, flash floods, is if you're still hiking in the winter, snow and ice. Snow and ice can get you if you're not prepared with your footwear, with your gear, all of that. I'll do another video for winter gear, but exposure, just really protecting yourself against the elements, because in Colorado, the weather changes every 5 minutes, I swear. It's not consistent. I check 2 different weather apps. Sometimes I check 3 different weather apps before I go out. And in my backpack in the summer, I have everything I need for a summer or fall or almost winter day. So do not overestimate the elements. And with that being said, fire is, of course, a huge danger. I've got on my Smokey the Bear t-shirt from the National Park store. Look, we all know about wildfires, and fire can be something that's very dangerous if you're exposed to it. So please do your part and learn how to put out a fire. We'll drop a video below that's super important. I think we're not educating our tourists enough for that, and that is one of the things that hopefully you learn from this video, is that fire is a huge danger when you're hiking. That leads me to the next dangerous thing. The 4th dangerous thing when you're hiking in Colorado are falling trees. So if you're hiking in an area that has had a wildfire, or just has dead trees from the pine bark beetle kill, or the beetle kill decimation issues that we're dealing with, the dead trees, these trees are called widow makers because you could be hiking and the tree could fall on you. So just be aware. Don't walk underneath a tree that's leaning on another tree. Don't walk over a tree that's leaning on another tree without testing it first. Don't step on that tree. Falling trees and fallen trees can really seriously injure you or even kill you. And it would just be something that you couldn't recover from. You couldn't help yourself very quickly if you're in an area with no cell phone service. So just be careful of those trees and be aware of where you're walking and where you're stepping. Before I get to the top 3 dangers of hiking in Colorado, make sure you drop a comment below. Click the like button. Let me know what I missed, and let me know how I can help you overcome your fears of hiking in Colorado. That leads me to number 3. The biggest danger of hiking in Colorado is yourself. You might be fearful. You might injure yourself. You might get a bee sting. You might have a medical condition that you're not aware of or that you're not prepared for. You might roll an ankle. It's just you and your fitness level. You might not be fit to do a 15-mile hike. You might not even be fit to do a 1-mile hike. You can sometimes be your biggest danger. So please prepare yourself. Please watch other informational videos. Get a mentor. Get someone who's hiked before. Do all the right things. Over prepare when you're hiking in the woods, when you're hiking in the wilderness. Even if you're hiking out your back door from your vacation condo, anything could happen. You need to not be a danger to yourself. Okay, my second biggest danger of hiking in Colorado is basically what I call the 2-legged animal, or a man or a woman. In all the years that I've been hiking in Colorado, a few times I have stumbled across places and camps and people that have been dangerous. So people who are camping in the forest illegally for a long time, or people who are on drugs. So in my opinion, the second biggest danger of hiking in Colorado are people. You need to be aware, you need to be safe. If you're hiking alone, you need to be prepared with multiple tracking devices, multiple self-defense things, and always let someone know where you are. If you're not traveling alone or hiking alone, just have the buddy system, talk to your friends about listening to your intuition and what you're going to do if you come across someone while you're hiking in the woods who has bad intentions for you. This is like I said, #2 most dangerous hiking thing in Colorado for me personally. And those are the things that I did to help myself to not be susceptible to anyone who is dangerous. So, what is the most dangerous thing in Colorado when you are hiking? Drum roll again, please. I would say the top most dangerous thing when you're hiking in Colorado, and maybe even in the whole world and the whole universe, is a female. A mama bear. A mama protecting her kids. There is sometimes nothing you can do to protect yourself against a female creature who is protecting her young, her brood. So just be careful, be aware, do what you can do. Know that you are a visitor in the woods. You are in their territory. You are needing to rely on your own intuition and do what you think is the best. But to be honest with you guys, if you follow just the basic steps that I've told you here today, be prepared. Don't be a danger to yourself. Don't be a danger to others with your off-leash dog. You're gonna be fine. Like I said, I hike 3 to 5 miles a day, 3 to 5 times a week for the past 15 years. That's thousands of miles, and I'm living to tell you about it here without any major incidences. It's fun, it's beautiful, it's rewarding. Yes, it's dangerous, but it's a calculated risk. Just like if you go scuba diving, just like when you get on an airplane, just like when you drive your car. You know the rules, you know the safety features, you know what you need to do. Now go do it and have fun. I'll see you in the mountains. Bye for now.